hello from wherever you are watching us from, and thank you so much for keeping it KTS. Welcome to our today's episode of the Public Finance Trade Program. I'm your host, Regina Orlando, and with me is Sila Kosgei, a reporter with the Standard Group. Next to Sila is Emmanuel Kongim, Assistant Program Officer at Career Center Organization, and at the furthest end is Mr. Timothy Kiprono, the Program Officer in charge of social development at Career Center Organization. We'll let you know why we have Sila in our studios today in a very short while. And gentlemen, in our previous shows we've looked at the role of different actors in the decision-making process, and especially with reference to the public finance. And we mentioned the executive, the legislature, and the role of the public in ensuring that public finance is well managed. And today we want to give a major focus to the fourth estate, which is also the fourth pillar of democracy in our society, and that is the media. Mr. Kiprono, being that your organization deals mostly with issues of public finance, what do you think is at stake for the media?
Thank you, Regina, and Sila, welcome on board.
Thank you so much.
It's really a nice experience to have you today. And I mean, so the media, like you said, is the fourth pillar for meaningful democracy. So one of the things that media plays very important role, or what is expected of the media, is that it is assigned these democratic roles because it's believed that it's supposed to act in the interest of the public, and also it's accountable to the public.
Sure.
So in terms of access to information, informing the public what's not happening, what's happening, and whether what's happening is correct and something like that. Remember, a huge part of the public is not educated. Okay, so part of media, part of the reason why media is at play or has a lot of influence or a lot of role in democracy is to make that information very simple and in a way that the public, the general public, the common citizen of the village will understand, like, okay, what is this that's happening? Remember, so in decision-making process, for example, which is part of democracy, everyone has a say in part of the decisions that we make. So there are various stakeholders involved. Yeah. For example, there is the government who comes up with a proposal, sure, especially in our system. So comes up with a proposal and goes out to public to seek, input and approval of those decisions. Yeah. So and then we have the professionals who critiqued this information from technical and professional point of view. Yeah. So the media is, at the middle of all this, tries to bring out the information about the proposals the government is making, tries to analyze it and make it simple for the public to input. It tries to accommodate the professional and technical people to discuss and critique that information. So at the end of it all, the media plays a very critical role, that if at all, if by any chance that role is not effective, then we are actually not moving forward. The democracy is not realized the way we expected. The economy is not growing the way we expected if the media doesn't play its role. Okay. So it has very critical role. Yes.
Mr. Kongin, your sentiments on the same?
One of the key things that the role of the media is, actually the role that the media is supposed to play, is that they should have the information broken down. They get the analysis of the government official documents, for example, and then they simplify these documents and present it in a way that the public are able to understand and be able to make informed decisions based on the information that they get. So at times we can say that some of this information is almost not always readily available, but for some of this information is fairly available for the media. If you look at for example, the control of budget reports, we also have the National Treasury, and even some county governments are also giving out information on a budget implementation. So this information is actually something that if the media can actually look at it and analyze it and share it with the public, it will actually go in a long way in helping the decisions that are made and also holding the government to account.
Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Sila,
Yes.
thank you so much, and once again, welcome to the program.
Thank you so
There's
much.
this assertion that the media is one of the actors in the decision-making process. Is this true, and how is the media responding to this role when it comes to the issues of public finance?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I'd like to say that the media is a critical element in society. We always regard it as the fourth estate, and our main role is to inform.
Yeah.
We are informants. We also have a task of educating the public.
Sure.
So when it comes to public finance, we have a role in ensuring that the public gets to know what happens in, let's say, the county government,
Sure.
what happens in the national government, and even in terms of legislations.
Sure.
Because at the end of the day, we are governed by, let's say, the county government, and we need to find out what really happens there.
Okay.
So that is where we come in. And in most instances, we normally have the privilege of getting some of the information,
Sure.
but not all. But it is our duty to now scout for those information that the public wants to hear. Because at the end of the day, the public will always want to depend on us. And you see this narrative of saying that the media said,
Yeah,
the media said
the media
this, and
said.
so we have to follow it up.
Sure.
So at the end of the day, we have that role of ensuring that they are well informed
Yeah.
on what really happens with their finances.
Yeah.
And I think we are important people in the finances, and also in trying to also critique the county government when they've gone wrong. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you think? Do you think that the media is really responding to this role as they are expected to do it, or there are some loopholes somewhere?
I don't want to castigate them because I'm part and parcel of it. But
Sure.
for a fair judgment, I'd like to say that we are fair. We are fairly there.
In our coverage?
Yeah, we are fairly in terms of our coverage, because at the end of the day we have some setbacks.
Sure.
A good example is coming in trying to find information from the counties. Sometimes it's not an easy way, because most information that are meant to be in public are not. So whenever we try to interrogate further, it becomes a challenge to us.
Sure.
But besides that, we have to continue, because that is our role. We always have to probe each and every time.
Okay.
So I can say we are fairly there. Yeah, we have not really reached fully to our obligations. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Tim, we've mentioned some failures by the media fraternity when handling some issues, especially related to the public finance. But how do these failures by journalists affect the decisions made and the outcomes of the processes involved?
Actually, there's this very huge impact. Like I said, if the media fails to play this role effectively, then the choices made are not actually the right choices. Right? There's a very high chance of wrong choices being made, and of course we've had very weird expenditures or choices made by several county governments and also national government. Because we've had of the devolution ministry purchasing theater, media, DVD player in the office. What's that for? When in certain schools or parts of the country, it's still missing classrooms. We're still lacking teachers. We're still lacking basic healthcare services. So most of the time, when the media plays this role, the outcome of those decisions, because we've not got the chance to highlight whether these choices the government is making. We've not given the public the chance to understand what are the implications of making those choices. We've not given the professionals, the technical guys to critique, and give perspectives and also alternatives, like, okay, those are good choices, but then they're not the right choices for us, and something like that. So at the end of it all, we find that the choices made are not actually responding to the needs that we want, the economy needs, the public needs, and all this kind of thing. So for example, we talk about, look at the process at the county level, this is new concept in actual sense, like, budgeting a county and doing its budget and something like that. It should be a big story, and continue sustainably, so that this part of enlightening the public on what is their role, what is it supposed to do in terms of shaping the choices made by the county government. So for example, if you look at the bigger picture, we joblessness or unemployment has been key issue. Issues to do with the cost of living has been key issue, right? But we do budgets every year. Okay, why isn't the budget responding to this thing? Okay, why aren't the budget choices responding to employment issues? Why are they not designed to create jobs? Why are they not designed to reduce the cost of living? Okay, it is because the media is not coming in strongly to say, okay, these are the choices, and how are these choices responding to these gaps in the society? So that is part of the inefficiencies. When the role being played by media is not effective. Yes.
Mr. Kosgei, what's your response to the issues that Mr. Tim has just raised?
Yeah, it's very true that as a county right now, or as a government, we are faced with so many issues, like what Tim has said about in terms of joblessness, the high cost of living. But I'd like also to challenge the public, because the public have a role.
Sure.
They have a role to ensure that during the public participations, let's say at the county level, they have to be there to even interrogate further these reports, especially let's say the budget reports, the county fiscal strategy paper, so that before it's taken to the assembly, they have the input, factored in. At the end of the day, we are blamed as media for not trying to take this issue further. But it also stems back to the public. The public are the ones to determine. Because at the end of the day, we as media, we can come and say, you should have done this. But they'll say, why not base it on the public?
Sure.
The public have that role to ensure that whatever thing is put there in, let's say, in the budget making process is also captured. Those that are not captured now, or maybe that have been captured but not well executed, that is where we come in as media, to come and say, hey, in the annual development plan, in the county fiscal strategy paper, you said you'll set this funding for let's say, project X, but that has not taken place. So we shall come now and try and interrogate further and say, now what happened? Yeah, where did it go wrong? But essence, the media are there to get information from the public, from that document, because that document now encompasses on what has been discussed and passed. Yeah. So though we are being blamed, but even the public too have that role.
And also I think apart from even the public themselves, there's also a loophole with the executive or even the legislature, because you find that at times when these public forums are called, they don't mobilize people to attend the forums, the public participation forums. So
exactly.
Sincerely, how will they know? For us is to inform, but again, if the public and the legislature don't play their roles very well, there'll definitely be a mess somewhere.
Yeah.
Mr. Kongin, as finance practitioners, how then should the media conduct itself?
Thank you very much. The role of the media is actually to be like the fulcrum that is shaping the discussions, or let's say the agenda in terms of how county governments and the national government is actually using resources and the power that they have. So the role of the media actually is objective is actually to focus on what is happening after the leadership has been selected by the people. So for example, we only have one time election and then we have 5 years to work.
Sure.
So the focus should actually be on what is happening in that period. Like the public should be knowing what the government is actually doing. But currently, if you look at what is happening in the media, the focus so much has been on politics. For example, it's actually been Code versus Jab, Code versus Raila versus Uhuru. That's been most of the discussion that is happening. And currently, as we're speaking, the key issues mentioned is the ICC. But at the end of the day, if you are to look at it, the factual status is that all this power and all this politics is because these people are supposed to be the custodians of public finances. So it is up to the media now to shift their focus from what is happening in the politics and focus on what is really important, which is the public finance, which the resources that the public have actually entrusted these leaders to manage for them. So when the media is actually going to shift from doing the politics and focusing on the development and how this money that the politicians have been entrusted with to manage for the people, then if that discussion is about the resources, then I think we are going to move forward rather than just having to say this, these politicians say this, these other politicians say that, while public resources are not spent in the right way. Yes.
And Mr. Kosgei, what do you think is the result when the media focuses so much on politics as opposed to governance issues?
Okay, first and foremost, the media acts based on the preference, choice, and the taste of what the public wants to hear. Though the fact is that we mainly focus on politics, but you need to remember that Kenya is everything is politics. Yeah. Even if we come with issues about finance, people will be like, let's switch to another channel because we need to hear what so and so said. But in real essence, as a media practitioner, I know that we also need to come out clear and explain this, because at the end of the day, as a county government, let's say harboring or having like 5 million shillings shillings or 5 billion shillings, that is the money meant for the public. So we also need to also try and see how we can assist so that such monies cannot be, misused by our leaders. But in real essence, I think we also need to balance. Yeah, there's need to have a sense of balance between politics and finance issues, because we can't move without using money. We can't walk. Everything is based on money. Even the political rallies, it's all about money too. Yeah, so I think there's need to have a balance of the two. Yeah.
Oh, so do you think the public is also a critical factor in ensuring that the governance process is derailed? Because when they want to only hear what politics says and we talk about governance, so are they also a contributing factor to that?
You know what? At the end of the day, the public will always want to hear what they want to, from the governors and all that. The governor will have a leeway. He will be like, I'm lucky because the public will always want to hear, okay, which party am I going to buy in come 2017, but not asking me about my money or the money that we are trying to make use of it. So the public at the end of the day have had a culture where they just want to hear about politics, the empty rhetorics. Somebody says that we are building this, we've done well, but not interrogating further on how has it been done. So at the end of the day, the media will capture in what the governor said concerning these empty, let me use the term empty rhetorics, and not interrogate further to find out how much has been used for project X and Y.
I agree with you that actually part of the reason why the media is too focused on politics or other things which doesn't matter, by the way. I mean, politics is part of life in Kenya. But if you look at politics per se, it doesn't change the lives of Kenyans in its own without the resource bit of it. Okay? How are the politicians managing the resources? How are they driving the economy and all this kind of thing? So if you can balance this discussion with the politics and how are these politicians transforming the economy, then I think the news will be juicy, because public are interested in knowing what their leaders are saying, which political party and all this kind of thing. But then we need to bring in this other perspective, okay? So that people are able, to look at, as much as they're interested in their leader, but what is this leader doing for them, okay? How has this leader changed their lives, for example? How is this government making decisions that then will transform the economy, will create jobs, will make life, cost effective or affordable or something like that, so that we don't just focus too much on the insults, because I call what's happening between the opposition and the government an insult. Those are they add nothing to my life as an individual, for example, as a common citizen. But if you can bring in the issue of, okay, what is this that brings this insult? For example, most of the things the court are asking is about public resources. Okay, and we should drop the political tack from that and say, okay, let's leave aside the insults, their personal issues, okay, and look at these issues they're bringing. Okay, they're bringing issues about public finance. Look for example, the broad issue of NYS, the broad issue of Eurobond, the broad issue of a few other things government is not transforming the economy, and that should be, we'll find a balance between those two issues. Okay, we bring out the politics. Okay, well, of course the insults, I call them insults because they're not adding anything, and then now look at the focus of the issue. Are they saying anything serious? Is it true, about this politics and all this kind of thing? And it's not like we want to say the media is not actually performing. It's doing pretty job, okay? But it's not pretty job on the things that matter most, okay? Look at the coverage on things like sports. Very extensive, okay? KTN has 90 minutes for football every Saturday at around 5 and 6 to show the Premier League, one of the matches every weekend. But we've not had a session where the experts, public finance experts, the economists, and something like that, brought on board to say, okay, we have an hour to discuss how the budget choices are actually responding to issues facing public. Okay, so it's not like, so look at the wedding show as a huge an hour or two. Okay, and it's very comprehensive. Okay, look at other things like there are a lot of issues, by the way, going on at national level. There's music, 2-hour period just for music. Okay, we would like to be happy, we would like to entertain ourselves, but then we might not be happy if I listen to music and then go back and there's no food. Okay, I don't have job. But if I have a job, if I'm comfortable, I can go back and take tea and while watching, and I'm sure something is happening at the end of that. I can cook some very nice meal and something like that. I'll also enjoy the show, but I will not enjoy when I'm hungry. Okay, so we need to balance between all these issues. Okay, so media is doing pretty good, but it's not bringing out the issue. Okay, that can simulate all these other issues, right? So people will watch sports, people will watch wedding shows. In fact, people will do weddings. Okay, if they have the ability to do that. But look at the people who are doing weddings. Few, Bokolimo and the like, who are able to do that. But the rest of the population cannot do that. Okay.
Okay. Mr. Kungin, Tim has just mentioned that most media houses give focus to some, let's say some segments like the wedding show. He has mentioned about the wedding shows. We have issues of, football. Do you think we also need to have special segments of issues for governance and public finance?
Yeah, definitely. Yes, I'll say that we also need to have media personalities who are experts in public finance. Same way we have guys doing business news who are experts when it comes to business. We should also be having experts to actually look at public finance. And the key thing here is they'll also focus on transparency and accountability when it comes to management of public resources. So this is something that will make it easier for the media to also be looking at if the government is actually following the constitution on matters to do with the management of resources, and also important provisions in important legislation, for example, the Public Finance Management Act. So if you have experts who will be critiquing and looking at the county governments, for example, or the national government, is it following the constitution on matters to do with the governance of public resources? Is the county governments following the requirements of the Public Finance Management Act? And so this is something that will actually make the media push for accountability and also have transparency when it comes to management of public resources. So this will actually give pressure to the county governments and the national governments to actually respond to what is important for the public. Yeah.
And when we're talking of the media, having media practitioners who are experts in issues of governance and public finance, what are you people doing as an organization? Like for now, Kerio Center is an institution that deals with public finance. What are you doing to ensure that this is achieved, that we have journalists who can really report on issues of public finance? Because I believe you also have a role to play in that.
As an organization, we actually have been working in partnership with the media, and also partners like our national partners like International Budget Partnership. I've also been working on training medical practitioners, media practitioners on matters to do with public finance, and there are also so many other things that probably we'll mention as we go forward about these specific issues to do with public finance that are available for the media to use.
Okay. We are taking a short break, and stay tuned to KTS because we still have a lot lined up for you on the role of media in public finance. Stay tuned.